How's it going? Welcome back. The new Illuminate update came out. It looks like a little bit of a day early. I was kind of watching it to see when we would take the planet. This is the new mission type. This was my first solo run on it. I did do like one run with a couple of randoms just to get a feel for the new enemies, see if it really was going to be possible solo or how hard it would be. I took pretty much exactly what I brought in my best Illuminate loadout video a little while ago. I think the only thing I changed was the grenade. I took off the incendiary grenade, and I did it in favor of Thermite. This honestly still feels a little janky. I don't know if it's exactly right. But anyways, I took the Eruptor, the Ultimatum, Thermites. It's probably like the most meta build you'll ever hear. And then I took Stalwart, Warp Pack, and then Machine Gun Sentry and Gatling Sentry. I don't play like super well in this one just because this was like the first run afterwards. I didn't know, like, I wasn't great at figuring out what the weak points were or anything exactly. I'll talk about it a little bit, like what I think, and I've had a couple more games since this, so I probably will. This is probably gonna be a double upload today. It'll be my first double upload, and then I'll probably upload again at a normal-ish time tomorrow with a more clean-cut best build for this. First thing I do, I get down. I ping the SAM site. I drop my equipment. I want to do the SAM site first because it will provide a lot of cover for the objectives, because the sub-primary objectives you kind of have to hold. You'll see what I mean. But the loadout, I mean, it used to be like Stalwart for voteless and stuff, but there is no voteless. But it is the most responsive feeling support weapon for killing flying overseers, in my opinion. Eruptor kind of does the same thing. You can one-shot them to their jetpacks if you can land a clean shot, which I just prefer to use the Stalwart. Because when you like dive with the Stalwart, its ergonomics get so unbelievably good that you're like basically just using like a laser beam. It's incredible. And then obviously you can combine the two, one-shot to injure with the Eruptor. The Eruptor does one-shot to the head, but a lot of the times I don't really use it that way. I kind of just I do whatever's comfortable at the moment, so if it's comfortable to body shot with the Eruptor and then finish with Stalwart, that's what I'll do. Warp Pack, obviously, it's incredibly good. I did want to make sure this guy didn't see me, so I kept cover a little bit. And then this is the downside to using the Eruptor. Thankfully, he didn't even notice, pretty much. These are some of the new enemies. These are called Obstructors, I believe. Very cool. This is a new mission. The storm effects last until you complete the main objective, which I think is very, very cool as well. If this is like your first time seeing it, sorry for making you watch me do the SAM site first. I do get to the other stuff in a second. This is going to be another great reason why the Eruptor kind of sucks for this. Yeah, my aim was a little trash. It doesn't matter because I'm like already done with the SAM site, so I can leave immediately. But I don't know what was up with this map. It just kept hitting the like the terrain. It was so weird. Anyways, I think the grenades are a little weird. I don't think Thermites are the move because I think I barely used them in this. But I also didn't find any other grenades that I thought were like super good. So I'm thinking like maybe smokes or like seeker grenades maybe. The smokes would be to like cover the objective here, but then they would only really be good on this specific objective, but it kind of is what it is. The modifier for this gets rid of voteless and flesh mobs, so you don't have to worry about any of those if you're like planning your own loadout. It does give you these obstructors, which are like very similar to like flying boatless, in my opinion, just in the sheer numbers you can get, because you can see like how many I'm mowing down. So the Stalwart, in my opinion, still does very, very good, because the Stalwart's good against them, and it's very good against overseers, flying or otherwise. I didn't see any stingrays. Typically, that's one of the reasons I would bring the Eruptor, is for the stingrays, but I didn't see any of them, so you know, kind of do as you please. I think the update's pretty cool. I think they did do pretty well with these. They feel not underwhelming. They just feel like there's no difficulty increase, in my opinion. I mean, like, you are kind of like playing aim trainer compared to like boatless, where you're just like doing horde clear. So I guess there's like a little bit of difficulty increase, but not a crazy amount. Not enough for me to be like, oh, this is like super hard or anything. Because this was my first solo run, period. On this, like, I did one just to see the new enemies, and I was like, okay, this is doable, and then I just hit a solo run real quick. Ironically, for the main objective on this new mission type, I think all of the the primary, all the disrupt shield generators are harder to do than the disrupt Exospire core. I'll point out what I mean when we get further in the video. These can be destroyed by pretty much any weapon. I think any light weapon you can just shoot them to death with it. I just prefer to use the Eruptor because it was a lot faster and I already had it. That beam was very, very close. This build does struggle a little bit with holding certain areas and dealing with harvesters, but I do try and use the Ultimatum to great success. I aim low and then kind of arc it using the sidearm draw glitch to get increased velocity. And then you're gonna see like how much I struggle with killing these guys. I throw quite a few Thermites at this guy. I don't know, they kind of like keep popping off. I'm not really sure what was happening here, because it seemed like I would get like one stuck on there and then it would just come off. I don't know. Those are like, that's the most Thermites I use in this video, and not a single one of them hit. So I don't know. I ended up just tossing another Ultimatum shot and hoping for the best. That does not do it. At this point I'm like, okay, well, I want to get the legs. If you fire the Eruptor too quickly, it'll just fire like off into the direction not the direction you're pointing it, but the direction your character's pointing it. You can see it there again. Like I look at the wall and I'm like, what the hell? I just shoot his legs because I didn't really want to bother shooting his shield. Sometimes if they're lucky, they can survive like 3 shots if you shoot their shield, but kind of is what it is. I kind of expected this to be a little harder because these little like data jacks or whatever can get destroyed by the enemies, and during the final phase of them, they call in like dropships. So I was like, okay, this is kind of like a flag, but potentially harder because you can lose all of your progress really quickly. Oh, this was one of the new enemies. I forgot what he's called. I was just kind of spamming Eruptor shots at him, but you can see the Harvester did destroy the data jack there. If you kill the pilot, it just dies. So that's kind of what happened there. I broke his shield with a couple of Eruptor shots, and then one clean Eruptor shot into the cockpit, and he was dead. That's a cool trick, avoiding fall damage. I'm not good enough to do it consistently with the warp pack, but it is cool when you can do it. I really like the sentries. I think the sentries have increased in usefulness tenfold just because of the amount of flying enemies. Previously, you wanted them for like voteless, flesh mobs, shit like that, but the flying enemies are hard to hit, especially for like more casual gamers. So I'm a big fan of sentries in this, and the Gatling and Machine Gun being the best two because they have ballistic damage, obviously, and they just like track really well in air. But here I finally started actually doing the objective now that I've cleared out. I don't have a harvester that I'm worried about one-tapping it. I did the SAM site to take care of some of the dropships that are going to come in a moment. Once you do that and you get this prompt, the Operate Data Jack Terminal, that is when the Illuminate ships start spawning immediately. So I start putting up my sentries. I don't know where the best place is to put sentries, but I don't think it's where I put mine, because they are kind of, I think maybe you put them both on the same side. But the thing is, I'm playing right now in between my sentries and the enemy, which is like exactly what you don't want to do. And I think I get punished for it eventually. I don't know if it's right now. But yeah, make sure your loadout can deal with flying overseers, because you're going to deal with a lot of them. I do get punished for it a little bit. I don't learn though. You'll see. I definitely do not learn from this. I don't know what killed him. I think one of the sentries killed him, maybe. Because I like barely. I don't know. They seem very strange. I'm not exactly sure where their weak point is. I've seen other people take out their legs with great success. I've been trying to make the cockpit thing work, but when they like cross their arms like that, it gets very, very hard to get bullets to the cockpit. The Ultimatum doesn't do a whole lot against them, so don't use that. Actually, maybe it did. He just died. You know, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I do know, however, that like what I'm trying to do a lot of times was where if you can break their shield before they like cross their arms and start blocking their weak point, what you can do is you can then just lob an Ultimatum shot at center mass, and with no shield to protect him from the explosive damage, he will die. I did also try this with the Giga Grenade it did not work. So I don't know exactly. I think it might just be a difference in radius and damage fall off from the center. But I don't know. I don't know what grenade's best. I think maybe smokes to protect the data jack. But if not that, then maybe I don't know. Maybe the shield grenade. I'll come up with a good loadout by tomorrow and get that out for you guys. But for right now, the one that I've previously been using as like the best Illuminate loadout, I mean, it still kind of functions pretty well. It's not like, it doesn't feel terrible. It feels like you have some stuff that's like, that's not like, it's not that it's not performing well, it's just that it doesn't feel very useful. Because like the grenades previously were like pretty much essentially just used for horde clear. And now there's very little horde to clear, and the incendiary does not do shit against all the flying enemies. I'm really thinking like Seeker. Oh, that's one of the other mechs. The one with the guns there. That one I found is actually very easy. He never ever covers his face. In my experience. I could be wrong, I only played a couple games, but he never covers his face. Oh, dude, he's covering his face right there. I'm actually just a liar. Wait, no. That is the other one. There's two mechs. There's one that melees like that. See, here I'm like trying to put thermites on him because I'm like, maybe this will work. I have no clue, dog. I was trying everything. Second game and all, you're like still figuring how everything works. I was having a blast though. Like this is a fun faction, and you can see I think he survived both of those. But you can see the sheer amount of these things, dude. It's like a voteless swarm, but they're flying and they all shoot at you. We do catch another glimpse of the mech with guns. He's turning to kill the sentry. Yeah, this was a lot of fun, to be honest with you. Yeah. Those guys, I do think you can just like the ones with the arms, you can just like mag dump their I guess they all have arms. The ones with the cannon arms, when they're firing at you or they're like charging up their fire, you can just kind of DPS rush it with the Stalwart and you'll win. So I don't think there's anything you need to do differently against those. I haven't figured out exactly the best way to deal with the other ones, the ones that like charge you a lot of the time. And you'll see I struggle with them a little more later on, because right now it seems like I'm dealing with them pretty well by just avoiding them. And that is true to a certain extent. Here, you're going to see in a second. Because this guy literally just always points the guns at you. So if you just shoot his shield, it'll stagger him, and then he doesn't cross his arms. So you can just aim for that center mass and kill him. And the Overseer in there is not like the typical ones, because as far as I can tell, he doesn't have a blade of armor, and he doesn't have the medium pen head armor. So you can just aim pretty much anywhere in that cockpit, and as long as you're putting rounds in there, he will die, no matter the weapon. I do think I've heard that fire goes right through the shield, so I think that maybe one of the better weapons to use here would be like the Stoker, and then you can do the fire through the shield to kill those guys, and then switch to the ballistic damage for all of the obstructors, and then maybe take like autocannon or something. I think that would probably work pretty well. I'll give it a try and get like a much more clean build put out for you. But this was just demonstrating that the previous best build for Illuminate, in my opinion, still works wonders on this faction, or on this sub faction. See, I think this is, I do exactly what I said I wasn't supposed to do. And I did again cross my turret streams, because there's like one on one side and another on the other side, and I am standing in the middle. This is really poor play, but this is our first time like seeing these objectives, and I wasn't really sure where enemies would spawn from. But you can see I'm like a little more wary. I'm trying to stay away from over there now. I make sure to stagger that guy because he was going to hit my turret otherwise. But yep, this is another data jack done. These parts are harder than the actual like main objective. So if you can get through these all right, then you're chilling. At this point, I do decide to start cleaning up a little bit more of the mission, so that oh, dude, you can shoot the arms off with light pen weaponry. I don't even know where I shot it. It's crazy how much I notice like reviewing the footage compared to actually playing it. Because when I was playing it, I was just like, man, we doing whatever now. Whatever we need to survive is what we're doing. So I was just shooting until I saw a hit marker that looked like it hit, and then I was shooting in that area alone. Now I wanted to make sure I started hitting some of these side objectives and some of the outposts, get this stuff done and cleaned up, so that by the time I head for the like final objective. I'm not dealing with a fuck ton of patrols. I have been reading up on spawn mechanics recently because I did a video on like kill farming a little bit, and I was kind of wondering how I could improve upon that. And so I've been reading up on spawn mechanics, and they're very interesting. Like if you guys are curious, I can give you like the too long didn't read, but I'll wait for someone to like leave a comment asking for that. Otherwise, I'll just focus on talking about the mission, thought processes, and shit like that. Now, with all the shells that I've found, I don't like any of those because I have 2 smokes, 2 napalm. I want something that is explosive or high yield or mini nuke. So we find this explosive one, and I bring this one over. Now, in my opinion, on this specific faction, the napalm are more useless than the smoke. So I did explosive and I did 2 smoke. And I put in the 2 napalm as my useless other ones. And my thought process was literally like exactly what I was talking about with potentially bringing smoke grenades earlier, is I'm going to use those on the next data jack to give it cover when we are doing that objective. Now, the reason I wanted the explosive was because I knew right after this I was going to the rogue research station, and I wanted to head there, throw that down, and leave. I didn't really want to worry about doing the whatchamacallit, the hell bomb. But here you can see like this dude is like surviving the Eruptor shots, and at that point, that many Eruptor shots took off the arm. Like I don't know, the shield seems very, very resistant to flak. And he's fucking. But once you get a clean Eruptor shot, it kills. So it's not terrible. It's just very strange. Yeah, I was kind of limit testing a little bit because I at the time I had really very little clue how to actually kill these things. I just knew that my sentries were doing work, so there was been somewhere on them that I could shoot that would kill them. I drop this, I make sure it's as close as can be, and I start heading to this outpost. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard people say, like, I've heard a lot of different things. So I'll have to check out other stuff for myself and see how everything feels before I really, like, make an assumption on what the best build for this is. Because I think this is close and this works, but it's not perfect. You know what I mean? Dude, always with the Eruptor, always I forget to fucking pocket. I throw a Thermite in that because I was like, dude, I don't want to deal with this. You could also use Ultimatum if you are someone who is already... If you've watched this and you're like, okay, well, I don't want to use Thermites because he says they're bad, you can also just use Ultimatum. And, like, realistically... Oh, I fucked that up so bad. I should have stimmed. Yeah, I don't know. I took more damage than I thought when I went through the beam. It kind of is what it is, though. But you can just use Ultimatum for taking those at different angles, and then the Stalwart plus Eruptor can take them on the head-on angles where you can see that opening, because you just have to break the shield with Stalwart, and then you can get a clean shot with the Eruptor, which is what I did for the first one, and then Thermite for the other one, and an Ultimatum. Now, I switched to Thermites because I thought the Incendiary was... the Incendiaries were pretty much useless because of the... whatchamacallit? Because there's no voteless. So, that's why I switched to Thermites, because I was like, okay, well, I know Thermites can take them from any angle, but then it's already kind of stepping on what I need the Ultimatum for anyways. So, I feel like maybe you could keep Thermites and then swap Ultimatum to something else. Maybe the Warrant. I've heard people quite like that. I don't know. I never really used it that much. Or probably what I'm gonna do is try a whole bunch of different more grenades. I think maybe shield grenades would be good. I really need more testing to see how it feels, because like I can like look at numbers and be like, okay, this is best for this, blah 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 blah, but like nothing's going to beat actually like booting up the game and be like, okay, this feels good to use. I have a lot of use cases for this, etc. So I will get a better build put together for tomorrow. This is one of the big reasons I like the Eruptor, is these little like ball turrets die in one shot to the Eruptor. And those can be quite annoying to most other people because I think you can't kill them with light pen weaponry. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you can, and I just haven't tried because I always have something nice and easy to kill them with, like the autocannon or the Eruptor. But you can see there's a ton of overseers. I like immediately disengage this. I'm like, man, I don't want to deal with all that. Like, look at that swarm on the right of the obstructors. There's so many. there's it's literally like voteless numbers, but now they're flying and they shoot at you. Which some people are going to hear and go like, that sounds awful. But I was looking at this and I was like, dude, this is sick as fuck. I ran past that thing before I warped, because if I warped earlier, it would set off the little fire spire. I forget what they're actually called. Magma spire? Fire spire? Heat vent? Thermal vent? Something. Yeah, but that's just like a planetary thing. I mean, I have a lot of fun killing these. Especially because I enjoy the Stalwart, so like, it feels very satisfying. Just to like shoot into a horde of like all these tiny watchers and kill them all. We do see another little laser turret. Deal with it pretty easily. You could just use like Ultimatum for this. So like you don't need Thermites by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, you want the Ultimatum more because it's way further distance. Although you can see I threw that fucking Thermite into way far away, dude. Like that would have been a touchdown if we were like passing into the end zone. But I throw another one because at this point I was like, dude, I'm not using Thermites for anything else. I might as well use these for that, because I'm occasionally using the Ultimatum to kill harvesters. I don't know what I would bring in terms of like red stratagems if I had the option. Like sentries are just so unbelievably good against the Illuminate. It's really hard to justify something else. You can see I'm still like trying out a little bit. I do that, and then this is when I discovered you could kill these guys fairly easily, because he didn't have his arms crossed, but I'm pretty sure if they cross their arms after you've broken their shield, you can still kill them with the Ultimatum, just doing enough explosive damage. That was kind of close. I wasn't paying attention and I wasn't able to warp through that tree. But basically, like, it's not the Ultimatum one-tapping them, it's the shield already being broken so that the Ultimatum explosive damage is able to hit the pilot. And see, I get a clean shot. I try and get a clean shot, but he keeps tucking that shit up under him. I'm able to shoot off an arm, but now I have to reload. And it's very strange. I don't know where I need to shoot to like make this feel good. Because this current build feels a little clunky on killing these guys. And at this point, I just did enough damage on like through shrapnel to his body to kill, which feels very inefficient. This isn't the next objective. This is one of the ones I already cleared and I've got pushed all the way back to. Like, look at the amount of those observers. Like, it's so sick. I actually think it's so cool. I had a great time doing this. They feel very fun to just, like, there's so many of them, and it's another, like, trash mob that feels very good to kill. But, like, I think my other favorite, I mean, I don't know if these are going to make favorite, but I'm a big fan of these ones. My current favorite right now is hunters on the bug front. The little, like, white guys who, like, run around you and try and flank you. Because they feel very rewarding to kill. Because you can kill them with anything. They're very weak. They're like what I want out of a trash unit. And these might be up there because they're flying, so it feels like aim trainer. It feels rewarding when you shoot them. It's pretty sick. The mechs are very interesting. I'm wary to pass judgment on them until I've learned a little more about how to kill them. Because for right now, I think they're interesting. I think they're cool. I think they have interesting mechanics. I do think that I'm going about killing them wrong, because I've seen people shooting them in the leg. I've seen people using fire to kill the pilot through the shield, and I've been just shooting the shield like a chump and until it breaks, and then having to shoot off their arms because they keep covering their face. So maybe it just feels a little weird because I'm not doing it correctly, or I don't know. I just need a little more time, hands-on, to like feel it out, and then I can talk about it with more confidence. Be like, okay, this is what I recommend. This is very cool. Blah blah blah. I'm killing some of these guys because I was using my. That was pretty bad. If I aimed like the slightest bit to the left, I could have just taken out his jetpack in one go, and it would have been a very clean one shot. We are coming up on our final shield generator. Big fan of the Eruptor still. Obviously, the Eruptor is one of the best weapons in the game. By a huge margin. Yeah. Literally ask anyone. It's very good. I did lure these guys back into my turret because I had put it down over here, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna get use out of it, I kind of need to bring them over here. I do drop my Machine Gun Sentry on this side so that I can kind of make my way in. Or no, actually, I wanted to go for the Illuminate outpost. I forgot. I pinged the last Illuminate outpost so that all I had left was main objective. Because so far, I've only seen 3 side objectives on this, and we already did, I think, all 3. It was SAM site, Siege Artillery, and then Rogue Research Station. I don't know why I keep stumbling over research. Rogue Research Station. A little bit of a tongue twister. But yeah, so I've already done 3. I see a nice big grouping of Illuminate trying to shoot my sentry. I toss a couple of Eruptor shots that way to make it a little easier. I go ahead and call down the data jack, and we can get started on this. Well, actually, there's a couple more enemies. Now, I do see his jetpack, and I try and aim a little bit to the side to get him. And I don't know how that killed him, because it didn't blow up his jetpack, but it was 1 tap, so interesting. Maybe they have... I think it's just Eruptor shrapnel patterns being inconsistent. But yeah. Very fun. I think the new mission type is pretty cool. It's very, like... I don't know. It feels very, like... cool, I guess, like going into an area and destroying a very large like tower, I guess. It's kind of like what Cognitive Disruptor was trying to be, I guess. Wait, not Cognitive Disruptor. What is it called? Monolith? Destroy Monolith for the Illuminate? I don't know. I think it's gonna be hard to beat because my favorite like enter an area and then destroy it type of deal is the Spore Lung on the Hive Worlds, but that's because I'm a huge lover of bugs. Now there I was checking to make sure there's nothing above me. I do drop smoke. I put it off a little to the side because I wasn't sure if the shell would damage this or not, and I didn't want to just end up destroying this myself. Now I send that to try and kill that guy. I have no clue if that was going to hit. It did enough to stagger him, so it did hit him at the very least. That shit went right over my sentry. It did break it, unfortunately, but kind of is what it is. I was not like fully intent on trying to hold this area to the best of my ability. You can see I stalwarted down his shield and then popped him with the Eruptor. I was literally just trying to defend this place long enough to get this done. Thankfully, these guys were like aggro to my turrets and stuff, which does make this build feel really good. I think even if I like change up a lot of this build, I will find it hard to remove the Machine Gun Sentry or the Gatling Sentry because they are just so unbelievably good on this faction. But yeah, last thing we have to do is the core, and the core is actually really easy in my opinion. It is the easiest part of the mission because all you have to do, you don't have to hold the area at all. You don't have to like kill anything. I mean you have to kill like whatever's there to get to it. But once you're there, all you have to do is destroy stuff similar to like destroying eggs. And now it's a lot of stuff. It's like 148, I think. But destroying stuff is relatively easy. And it is inside, so you can't use stratagems to get to it. But you'll see. You'll see how long this takes me compared to like some of the sub-objectives. Now, there's a couple ways in. However, I found that if you can't find the way in, the best method to get in my opinion, is to ping the gate icon. Because there will be like a gate icon on your map. And that is a guaranteed way in. I was pondering it a little bit. I was looking at the walls. I was thinking, yo, what if these walls are thin enough for me to warp in? And I do try it. I will say, however, I think they have done something weird to make sure the warp pack can't get through, because I was using this in another game where I was like warping around inside the building and it kept like getting stuck, which felt very strange. We try and hit that guy with the Ultimatum. Honestly, that was a pretty perfect hit. I started shooting this guy's leg, but it doesn't matter because he drops his shield fast enough anyways. I switched to the Eruptor so I can kind of conserve a little bit of ammo. Wow, I reloaded my Ultimatum. This guy gets really close. I warped back away because I was scared. I thought he was gonna smack me in the corner and kill me. I tried to call something down, but because I was under an overhang, it has the same like no stratagem mechanics as the caves on the Hive Worlds. Actually, it doesn't. It has a jammed mechanic. That's very interesting. That's very curious. Because you can still use Seif in there, apparently. That's probably a bug. I didn't even notice that the first time I did this. But anyways, at this point, I'm like, dude, they called some shit in over there. I'm not worrying about it. We're going around. We're going to the gate because I don't want to worry about fighting my way in that way. So I walk around. I go here instead. I drop resupply. Drop a sentry out here to watch my back because the gate is right there to my left. And I start shooting these guys, the obstructors. I forgot what they're called already, man. I have the memory of a goldfish, apparently. But you can see those, like, see how it, like, put me back on that warp a little bit? But you can see I shot, like, on the center mast on the Eruptor on that wall. But I think that that's not the best way to go about things. I think the best way to go about things is probably one shot in each corner. And I think I learned that in, like, just off of that, I'm like, okay, well, if I'm using the Eruptor, one shot in each corner is probably going to be more than enough to handle everything. And I am just blessed with plenty of harvesters, apparently. Thankfully, I called on a resupply, so I should be able to warp out. But see, like, it warps me there again. Like, I feel like they did something funky with the warp pack for how this is mapped out. I feel like there's some kind of weird collision box to prevent warping around certain areas. Like warping through the walls, maybe. Here I was trying to commit to kill this guy with just this, because you can kill it with light pen weaponry in the eye. But I was kind of taking a little bit to do it, and at this point I was like, man, I'm not going to keep doing it at this point. So I switched to the Eruptor, and I was right there anyways, so it didn't matter. We've cleared most of the area out now, so we can finally get in. But these entire walls, you can see 17 up to 22. I think shooting the corners is better because I think you can do each wall in about 4 shots. So we're at 40 out of 148. There is a couple more overseers in here. But as you can see, I am just focusing on shooting the corners. There's 4 walls. I did one on my left, one straight forward. There's one on my right, and there's one around the corner to my left. I don't know what that guy was doing. He was pathing so strangely. Now you can shoot right next to the spinning thing. I think you can hit it if you mistime it and shoot with the spin. But if you shoot when it's spinning with a slow moving projectile, you can get around it. I start working on that last wall with a couple of Eruptor shots. Maybe just one more, 2 more actually. You can see the last one's there. I was doing it at an angle, so it's kind of hard to shoot the corners. But 148 out of 148, and then see, I can't warp in here. I don't know what it is. They did something. It's either a bug or there's lore with the warp pack. But either way, it was very annoying. But once you get 148 out of 148, it turns to rapidly clear the area because it's going to blow up, and then you just got to leave. Pretty sick mission. New enemies are pretty cool. I don't know, not much to say about it, honestly. Nothing's like overpowered, I don't think. I didn't really struggle with anything. The mechs were a little interesting, going in with very little game knowledge about them and like how to kill them. I think the build can be optimized a little better for the new enemies, but it still works if you need something. I do think if you're like with a team of 4, you can kind of bring whatever the hell you want. And if you want to like make sure you're pulling your weight, I think just bringing the Gatling and the Machine Gun Sentry is more than enough to like feel like you're pulling your weight, just because the amount of enemies it itself will clear. I dropped smoke on this. I have no clue if it worked. I just run into the smoke and start calling this. I would have done it regardless, even if I didn't have smoke, so it kind of is what it is. They do end up calling dropships. And we're going to see in a second just how bad I am at dealing with the mechs, because I had no clue how to do it. I call down some bonus stuff just in case I die. I always recommend doing that if you're just trying to hold extract. But we get this mech. I should not have ultimatumed. I don't know why I ultimatumed so early. I should have just waited. I end up calling napalm there and I start dodging, but we have oh, one of the mechs died actually. Maybe the ultimatum wasn't that bad. But the other one is still up and moving. And I start tossing thermites because I'm like, dude, I have no clue. Hopefully that works. There's one of the shooting mechs in the back that he knew, dude. One of them forced me to warp, and then I warped into the charge of the other one. If the chargers on the bug front start working like that, we're in trouble. I land where I knew I called my new stuff. And then I start trying to break this guy's guns because I think I saw myself do it earlier, but that one broke in 2 shots. I think it was because I hit that little blue vent on the side, and I didn't realize that in gameplay because now I'm just shooting wherever the fuck I want, and it is not going anywhere near as fast. I'm in through stims. There's a harvester here. I keep getting charged by this guy. I am physically incapable of letting the Eruptor finish its reload for some reason. Yeah, I think I shot the thing on the side, which is like the big thing that helped a lot the first time I killed one. Or not the first time I killed one, but the reason I killed that. I do just barely dodge that charge, which is kind of crazy. I think I got it there too. So, and then once both arms are gone, he's dead. So, I'm chilling with that. I do decide ultimatum this guy. It works out perfectly. It staggers the other guy out of his charge. I shoot in that. I'll warp at the last second just to make sure I'm chilling. And then I ultimatum that because I knew he'd be dead to the explosive damage, as I showcased earlier. And then we have one more guy up there. Now I think I just shoot this guy to death because he's like stuck up there doing like weird animations. It's kind of throwing it back, honestly. I missed the Eruptor shot on the easy target. Either way, Pelican 1 comes down and finishes it up for me. But honestly, new mission's not that bad. It's not. I think it's probably on par with the difficulty of the Illuminates as a whole, so pretty easy. I just think that people might struggle a little bit at the start because people don't know the weak points, best builds, etc. Which is probably why I struggled a little bit as well. I think this could be done so much faster. I think it is just kind of like build issue and skill issue because I didn't know where I needed to be aiming, and even now, like watching it back, I'm like learning and being like, oh shit, I should have been aiming there. And now and I think just going back in now, I'm gonna feel more prepared. But I have seen people use like the maxi gun to great effect on the back legs or the HMG, or HMG in placement as well. I think there's a lot that can work. I'm definitely like interested in getting back into it and getting a better build put together for you guys, because this one is it's good, like it works as I said, but it was definitely optimized with different enemies in mind, because like the Eruptor kind of came about for like killing flesh mobs, and the incendiary grenades came from killing voteless, and now neither of those are present at all. So now I'm kind of like, okay, I can reevaluate and see what I need to do differently. But pretty sick, honestly. Very cool. I like the new enemies, like the new mission. Props to designers. Can't wait to play some more. Pretty fun, honestly. I got 563 kills, almost 5,000 shots fired, 3 deaths, 27 stims used. Another easy mission in the books. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. See ya.